Hello, my name is Randy Dobson. I'm an instructor here in the Houston, Texas area, and this video will be covering the layer command in Autocad. This is actually going to be a one of two videos, so there'll actually be another one to watch. But this is the first one that kind of introduces it to you, gives you some basic information, and then the second one will go into more detail. The first thing to understand is the layer command, and it's right up here, layer properties. This does not change anything on your drawing geometrically, measure wise, anything, just the way that it's look. It is a for the appearance and manipulating of the drawing to where if you want to see things, you can turn it off, you can turn it on. You might draw up an object and have all the dimensions on there, and then somebody might want to see the drawing without the dimensions, and you can just adjust the settings for that. It is a very powerful tool. It is also one of the tools that AutoCAD has that is used most of the time. It's used incorrectly, and it does take time to really get the feel of using layers. Because you'll find you don't know if you're using enough or if you're using too many, and that will just take time and experience on deciding that. So, if you can imagine, I know when I was a child in school, we would have health class and they would have a picture of a body, outline of a body, and then they would pull over sheets of clear, transparent, and it would have the bones and the muscles and the veins and the organs, and then finally the skin, and that made the whole object. That's pretty much how layers works, to where you can manipulate what you want to see, and it's also where you want to control your line types. And again, there is a wrong way and there is a right way, but I just just want to point that out. The first thing before I start with getting into the layers, if you look right up here to the right, you'll see that the color, the width, the line types are all by layer. Whenever you're working on a drawing, this should always say by layer to do it correctly. Uh, and I will be going to that more in the second part. But just know that whenever you start a drawing, again, it's kind of like hopping into your friend's car. You don't just hop in and drive away. You have to set the mirrors, radio station, the seat, all that stuff. When you go to start a drawing, you need to make sure that your settings are the way that you want it, and it needs to be by layer. The layer property is right here, and AutoCAD, when you open it up, see if it'll open up for me. There we go. You get layer 0. You will learn later on what 0 is there for, but it has to start with something. So here you have layer 0. If you can't see some of these words, it might be that the columns are kind of squished up. So feel free to kind of hover over that line, hold your cursor down, and you can spread these out. Uh, what the main thing I want to cover in this portion, let me open this up so we can see the color, are the on and freeze. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a layer right here, new layer, and it's saying what if I don't give it a name, it's going to give it layer 1. I'm going to call it lines. Just type in lines. And here's a neat little trick. If you're going to create another one, which I am, called circles, I can go ahead and hit the comma, and as you can see, it's already finished lines, and now I can just type in circle, and then I hit enter and I'm done. Now, another reason of using layers is to be able to look at your drawing to see if things are on the correct layer. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to give circles a green color right here, and I'm going to give lines a red color. And I'm going to close this down for a minute. So when I created all of this, actually I'm going to go back. I'm going to add another layer. We're going to call it text. I forgot I did text. And we will give it a magenta color. So as you can see right here, this tells you what layer is active. Anything I create will show up on layer 0. So if I change to lines, anything I create will show up on the lines layer. Just here, I'm going to come over here to line, draw a line. As you can see, it's red, just like that. But as you notice, these other lines, this is all on layer 0. To change that, really the easiest way is just select the lines, and see it's telling you it's on layer 0. I can just open that up and change it to lines, and there they are. Same thing with circles. I can come over here and highlight all the circles and put them on the circle command layer. And I have to hit escape because I want to get my selections to clear. I can come over here and select all the text, and now the text is magenta. Now, as I become more experienced, which you will, you can look at it. I'm going to just copy this over for a second. I want to always like to do a before and after type of thing. I'm going to put these all on layer 0, or actually I'm going to make them all white. Okay. Now, when you look over here, you can see, well, I know that my lines are red, my circles are green, my text is magenta, that they're all on the correct layer. Can you tell from this one color if these are on the correct layer? Well, this is on lines, and this is on circle. But you wouldn't have any way to know that unless you highlighted it and checked it. By doing it with using the colors, if for some reason somebody did this line and did it like this, and did put the text on a, you could look at this and say, wait a second, text is on, this one's on the wrong layer. This is on the wrong layer. Just by visually looking at it, I don't even have to come near it. I can already tell that. That is one of the things about doing it with the different colors, depending on instead of just doing it all one color. Also, when you go to work at a company, when it plots out, different colors will have different weights, line weights. So that will be another way of doing it. Now, the main thing I wanted to talk about again was the freeze and thaw and the on and off. And I'm going to turn off the circle layer. Okay, you see that? I turned it off. It's still there. You just can't see it. Okay, now I'm going to go back to layers. I'm going to turn it back on, and I'm going to freeze it. Okay, and it's not there. Now, I usually wait here for a few seconds to see if any question might come to your mind. Hopefully the question I'm looking for will, but I'll tell you here in a second. So this is frozen, and this is off. Well, the question I'm looking for is, Mr. Dobson, what is the difference? The difference, the enormous difference is, and let me just kind of move this over here a little bit, is that when you turn something off, AutoCAD still recognizes its space. Okay, when it is frozen, it does not recognize that space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn circles on. I'm going to make circles my layer, my active layer, and I'm going to draw a circle. Let's see here. Okay. Let me just, I've got some other stuff over here I don't want to get rid of, so I'll just come back and redraw that. So when I go to zoom, which is Z, and then E for enter, you see it zoomed to the extents of this circle. Okay. Now I'm going to go to layers, and I'm going to freeze. Oops, let me change it. This is making it active. I want to put my 0 as active. You're not supposed to freeze your active layer. I'm going to freeze that, and you see it went away. Now watch what happens when I hit Z, enter, E, enter. It ignores that big circle is there. Okay, so now let's go back and thaw that circle command, and I'm going to do Z enter E enter, and as you can see it brings it back. Now I'm going to turn off the green. Now when I do Z enter E enter, nothing happens. I mean, I can zoom in like this, and if I type in Z enter E enter, AutoCAD is still recognizing that circle is there. So that is the big difference. When you turn something off, AutoCAD still recognizes that it's there. You just can't see it. But when it is frozen, it is totally ignored. Now I know it's kind of a silly analogy that I use, but we've all watched horror movies or ghost movies throughout the years, and or the Invisible Man or something, and you know that they will show some ghost or invisible people that can walk through walls. Well, imagine that being somebody that's frozen, a layer that's frozen where it's not recognized. But then you have some people that are invisible and they have to go through a door and they can't go through the wall because they're still taking up space. That is what off is like. So again, I know it's kind of silly, but that's probably one of the better ways to explain it. And it's when working with the layers. Again, it is a learned thing that it just takes time. You just can't learn it overnight or in a week or in a few months. Now, the colors I showed you, they're pretty easy to change. You just click on that color. For my courses, I just want you to stick down here, 1 through 7. Those are nice regular colors. You get up here, and they're quite different. This one's red, green, blue, as you can see the wording right here. Different shades. We'll just go with red, yellow, green, cyan, blue, magenta, and white. So you can use whatever colors you want. Now the big thing with another reason of using the layers is dealing with line types. You may see a line that is a center line or a dash line or a phantom line, and that's what the line type will take care of. I'm going to talk on that more in the second video, but I just want to prepare you that this is how you create the line types the correct way. And that concludes this first video on layers. Thank you.